Hey, Screaming Kitty, a 1989 Jaguar XJS. New to me, picked it up Saturday. Today's Monday. I got written back from the California DMV and they needed me to sign one place on one document that I had submitted on Saturday evening. And that means, so things are going through the process. So I should hear in the next couple of days. Today's Monday, submit this stuff Saturday. Probably Wednesday or Thursday, I should get a response saying, hey, you need to go get it smogged before we can retitle it. And then I'm going to throw a fit. Or B, yeah, you can go ahead and keep it on plan non-op because you're going to be working on it and storing it for an extended 10-year period. And by the way, here's your tags and your title. And your registration, plan knob and operation, by the way. And here's the taxes you get to pay. And all that's going to cost this much money, and I'll be able to pay them, and that completes my ownership of the car. Right now, we're just waiting on the DMV to complete everything. However, I wanted to share a video with you because, the initial video I went through, and I talked about the whole car, how I understand them back from my day. And there was always one in somebody's garage, and they always had the hood up, and they were always working on it. So I got the owner's manual out, and I started reading. I spent the majority of Sunday afternoon reading, and I found out there are two keys for this car that I didn't get with the sale of the car because he had misplaced them. Again, it's non-runner. But one key will open the doors, the fuel tank, and the ignition. So it's kind of like that master key. And then the other one will only open the doors, the fuel tank, and the trunk. So I said, if there's two keys, one for the ignition and one that opens everything else, doesn't that mean if I get the key code off the easiest tumbler to remove, then I can go get that key made and I'll be able to get the fuel door, everything. And then I'll do the same thing for the ignition and save a little bit of time and energy and money. So anyway, that's exactly what I did. I said, let's start with the fuel door, because how am I going to get that trunk and get to that? How am I going to take the doors apart? No, let's start, if we mess this up, it's just a door and easy to paint, repaint and everything. But the good thing is, I had my nice handy little body trim tool. And what I did was I came about right here and I pried it out just about that much. Just enough to get, just enough to get a screwdriver. In my case, I used one of these Harbor Freight T50s and went down in there, pried the retaining clip off the back of the tumbler, and then ever so gently wiggled the lock tumbler out just like this. Let me see if I can get this out with one hand. Just like this, right? Just pried that out and see how you can't turn it until you get it out. Just like that. I'll be darned, we got our tumbler out. Okay, I'm gonna set that over here so I can describe. This is not on the internet anywhere. There's nobody out there that has done a video how to do this. I don't know if it's common sense, but it wasn't for me until I did it. So again, this is held in there just like that. That little U-shaped retaining clip. And you've seen these on everything, anything from a tractor to a airplane to a car door. And basically, let's go through this again. So this sits in the fuel door just like that. Okay. This, with that angle like that, sorry for the antifreeze bottle, but it slides in behind those ears, right like this. And that's what holds that in there, just like that. Now, again, why did I do that? Because look at that. There's our key code right there. So that means I can go down and get a Jaguar key cut that, again, will work for the doors, the fuel tank, and the trunk. Now, oh my God, when I open that fuel tank, I don't even want to tell you. It smells like alcohol. It smells like, I don't know. Anyway, all right, I've got a mess here. Bear with me. This is how I'm going to create the other key. I've got extension cord to my Dremel. Right down here, I have lowered the driver's side knee panel, if you will. So this would be setting up like this, right? There's 2 screws over here. There's 3 in the back. There's 2 here, right up underneath this, okay? And you're gonna have to remove your bezel right here that goes around your lock tumbler and your ignition switch, if you will, which is this right here. It's kind of like an L shape. Now what that does, let me turn the light so you can see. What this ignition does is it goes right into the steering column, and right there in that hole where my finger is would be a set screw that looks like this, okay? So that would be up in there, and that's what holds that entire tumbler in, or the ignition system. Now, there are wires, and this hot, so you got to make sure you disconnect the battery. In this case, we don't have a battery, so we're not going to electrocute ourselves or anything like that. But look at this. They've been hot wiring this car with a fuse jumper, a fuse, and a wire, and just, well, you know how to do it. I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, you will take what I did anyway. Took my Dremel and the little tiny burr that it comes with, put it on about, I don't know, 10,000 RPM. And in that set screw, I cut a flat slot, just like that. And then, while it was up there, obviously, and then I took my flat bladed screwdriver, stuck it up there, turned it about 90 degrees, and I could feel that it was loose, and I was able to take my fingers and turn it. So there is one more of those screws, those set screws, and they call them breakaway screws, because what happens is, normally on the top of that, there would be something like this, and it would screw in there at the factory, and then it would break, and then it was just basically a flat, just like before I cut it with the Dremel, okay? So on the back of there, there's another one of those. There's a hole, or a set screw that goes here, right there. And then there's a one that goes on the back of it. So I'll have to get my ballerina outfit on and climb up underneath there and do the same thing with cutting another one of these little slots in the screw, and whatever goes back in there, whether we get a push button starter or if we go back and rekey this thing, or if we're able to take that tumbler out of the ignition switch and replace it with a key, then by all means. But we're going to put some Allen set screws up in there with some Allen key heads or something, or a star pattern or something like that, a secured, I get it why it's done, but I mean, this doesn't have, to my knowledge, an alarm system other than one of the bleeps and, you know, honks the horn. It's not like, hey, North Star, I'm being ripped off, you know. Or there's no Apple AirTag in it to track it GPS-wise, because there is no OnStar in here. So anyway, there's a little bit of advice. I know people have talked about doing it, but they didn't show you how to do it. And hopefully you're getting a lot out of this channel by now, over the course of the other projects we've done. And I don't know anything about this car. I'm not a Jaguar mechanic. Just like you, we're going to learn together as we go through this. But the more you read, the more you know, and the more you share, we learn together. And this is kind of cool, folks. So we'll come back and we'll jump into another video and we'll do another how-to, because that was kind of exciting to get 2 tumblers out of the way. So we'll be able to go get some keys for our new-to-us car. And then we'll be able to get a battery later on and, you know, go through, look at the oil, look at the and get some antifreeze back in there, and then obviously drain that oil. The plan is to, or fuel, the plan is to try to get out of the fuel filler neck over there. If not, we'll pop open the trunk here. We will take the spare tire out, and then we'll get into the sending unit there. Or I've seen a lot of people, they actually get the battery in the car, and then they disconnect this fuel line right here that goes into your injector rail. My thought is, if that fuel's been sitting in there for I don't know how long, why pump it through a fuel pump and a filter and the fuel cooler over there, and then have it come right out here? And now you got all that crud going through your entire system, and you're going to have to back flush that. Why not start back there, get it empty, and then all we're going to have to do is blow through some compressed air to purge the fuel lines, and then we'll empty it obviously in our fuel tank or our gas cans. We'll take it over to the dump because it's free to discard over there. No pouring it out in the yard, folks. None of that anymore. Okay. And yeah, it looks like somebody's been in here before, but there we go. And it looks like we got a fuel vent line over there that's loose, but yeah, we'll be able to do that and go from there. Cool. All right, folks, we'll get back to you shortly, and thanks so much for watching. If you learned something, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give me a comment, and by all means, subscribe or at least watch the other channels that know how to do this kind of stuff. All right, folks, take care. Bye.